back by popular demand. And here I just thought this was going to be the regular season. We all met every Monday. But no, we're keeping it going, folks. We're giving the people what they want. This is Talk the Line. Jason McIntyre, Colin Cowherd. Colin just came off talking all things football, so let's keep it going right now, you guys. I currently just put up my house on the market. So if you're interested in buying a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, because I keep losing so much money with my wagering habits, if that's available. But let's see how you guys did. Taking a quick recap, Colin, 1-3-1. J-Mac, you were 2-4 on your pick sixes. How are we all feeling?
Okay, I got the Rams upset right. I like picking upsets. That makes me feel good. But playoffs are hard because the only 2 games I would have bet this weekend were the Rams I did and the Steelers I did and lost. So generally I like the regular season betting because there's 15 games, 16 games. I only have to pick 4 or 5. When you have 5 or 6 games and I'm forced to pick 5, there's usually, like this weekend, I've already seen the numbers. There's only one number I love.
Ooh,
and the rest of them, I think the numbers are right.
All right, well, then let's just get right into that. Jason, hold that thought on how you're feeling because I want to put up this board and see what jumps out to you. Colin, what's that one game that you're looking at?
Well, I mean, to give Cleveland 10 points, Kansas City is going to be rusty. When's the last time Kansas City beat anybody by 10 points? I think Cleveland is young. They're going to be healthy. They're energized. They're confident. They're finely tuned. And I think Kansas City is going to find out very quickly that much time off, especially for Mahomes, is problematic. And I think the number is way out of whack. I think it's a 5 or a 6.5, 6.5 maybe max. I love Cleveland plus 10.
Jace, what stands out to you on that board?
Yeah, well, it came out, Sunday night, and the first bet I made was, last week my first bet was on fire, hit it. I took Baltimore getting 3. It's already down to 2.5. Charissa, I'll just tell you right now, that will be pick'em come this weekend. Baltimore is the side in that game. They match up great for Buffalo. I know the Bills Mafia is going to get upset hearing that, but this is a nightmare matchup right now for the Buffalo Bills at home. Baltimore is going to come in there and win that football game.
I love it. We'll get into some more details on that game in a second, but first let's start us off here on Fox on Sunday. We got Tampa Bay in New Orleans. We're looking at 3.5 here, point total of 51. Colin, who do you like?
Well, New Orleans is a better team, a better roster, and Antonio Brown's emergence, I think Buccaneer fans should really feel good about. I like Tampa to win. I like the Saints to win again. I think it's a tough matchup. I think they can put pressure on Tom Brady and have excellent corners. So I think it's a closer game. But I would probably take the Saints plus 3.5, minus 3.5. I think they're a better team, a better roster. I have a coach that's had more success in the postseason, so I like the Saints minus the number here.
Yeah, it's interesting. We saw some steam on that total this morning, actually. It soared up 2.5 points, which is a mild surprise to me. I'm done with totals. I went 0-3 on them this past weekend, did well on the sides, and I'm kind of with Colin here. The Saints favored by 3.5. If you remember their second meeting in Tampa, they were slight underdogs in that game, and now they're favored by 3.5. I do believe the betting public, which had a bad weekend, is going to look at this and say, man, the Saints did not look good against the Bears. The Bears stink. Tampa Bay looked awesome. Tom Brady looked great. He shattered that can't play at nighttime narrative, even though he didn't cover the spread. It closed at 8.5. They only won by 8. I think the Saints are the side here. One interesting thing to watch, Brady was terrible in 2 games. He was sacked 6 times by the Saints, and he threw 5 interceptions. Ronald Jones, I don't know. I know, Colin, you're big on Ronald Jones. He may not play. He's hurt right now. I don't know how they run the football, and that'll rely on Tom Brady to win this game. He struggled against the Saints. I think New Orleans is the side.
All right. Well, that would be 6 straight for the Saints against the Buccaneers. This, of course, predating Tom Brady. But you guys are both on the Saints side there. Let's move on to the Browns-Chiefs. Colin, we know which side you're on right there. You mentioned that they haven't beat anybody by 10. The last team they beat by 10 was Jason's Jets. So it's been a minute since they put up double digits on an opponent. What side are you on here, Jace?
Cleveland is enticing. Colin made a pretty good points. And I have to say, if you're scripting how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you play keep away from Pat Mahomes. Chiefs are bottom 5 in the league stopping the run. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt love to run all over you. This is going to be a Browns team, by the way, that gets an offensive line healthy. And I got to give a shout out to Baker Mayfield's guys on the offensive line. 0 pressures allowed, 0 sacks allowed against the Steelers. Like, first of all, Mike Tomlin had a terrible game plan. I'm not going to go into it here, but Cleveland, I was shocked. I mean, 28-0 in the first quarter, and they were able to hold on here. I think there is some value on the Browns. I'm worried a little bit about the Chiefs in their last 8. Charissa, I know they cost us a lot of money. 0-7-1 against the spread. They haven't covered a game in 2 months. And last year, off the bye in the playoffs against Houston, they started out down 24-0. Houston can't run the ball, so could do nothing. Cleveland can run the ball. We'll see what happens.
Not to mention that their head coach and play caller was sitting on his couch. I would have loved an ISO cam of Kevin Stefanski at his house with that game yesterday. Just a fun fact about this game, this will be the first time that Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes have met since 2016, that big college game, Oklahoma, Texas Tech. They combined for 1,279 yards in that game. Baker had 7 touchdowns. So if it's anything like what they did in college, it won't be boring. Moving on to game 3, we got the Rams and the Packers in this one. Wolford, we're still not sure his status. So Jared Goff, will he get the start in this one? We're not sure. We're looking at 7 with a point total of 46, Colin.
Well, Green Bay will start quickly. Matt LaFleur's very good scripting plays. He's a great first-half coach. The Rams are 37-0 under McVay when they lead at half. I don't think they will. And I think this game could go sideways. I don't think the Rams are built right now to play from behind with Jared Goff's injury and lack of confidence. I think the Rams are built to play with a lead where Aaron Rodgers has to pass. You can rev up Aaron Donald, pin your ears back. But I think this is going to be a team, Green Bay, that comes out, first 10, 12 plays scripted, grabs a lead. And I don't think Jared Goff in this offense right now is built to play from behind. So I would take Green Bay -7. I think it could get a little out of hand if Goff doesn't play. I think if you're forced to if you play with a lead, John Wolford can manufacture some discomfort for Green Bay. But playing from behind, Goff and his confidence in Wolford, they're not built to win this game on the road. I'm going to take the Packers here.
And in 27-degree weather, the winds will also be sideways in Green Bay.
Yeah, how often will we hear the stat that Jared Goff is 1-5 against the spread in cold weather games under 30 degrees or whatever it is? But I throw that out the window. Colin, this is kind of an interesting matchup. Okay, let's just say Jalen Ramsey can lock down Devontae Adams. Maybe not stop him, but contain him. He did contain Metcalf. They had to, free up Metcalf for the 2 touchdowns against other guys. Let's just say that they can remove him. We've seen this Green Bay offense struggle twice against top 10 defenses. They struggled against Tampa, and in the second half against the Colts, they scored 3 points. The other game they lost against the Vikings, who ran all over them, 173 yards on the ground. If, like you said, the Rams can weather that early storm, Cam Akers on the ground, Malcolm Brown, there is a case for the Rams keeping this close, but I'm kind of with you. I just don't know if I trust Jared Goff. Like every third pass he threw, you could just tell his thumb was wonky. It's a tough spot. Now, this gets interesting if John Wolford surprisingly gets a start coming off that stinger. But Cooper Kupp's banged up. Aaron Donald had a rib injury. A lot of uncertainty here. I would wait during the week to see what happens.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp has bursitis. I had to look it up. I was afraid what I was going to see on WebMD when I looked up bursitis, but he's supposed to play, and Aaron Donald is supposed to play as well. I'm sorry that it's taken me to game 4 to point out that Colin has a mustache that needs to be discussed. What's happening here, Colin?
Well, I'm kind of tired of it. I like my gray stubble. I like that. But if I shave the mustache, am I allowed to still have the stubble?
Yes, you are. But I thought we were doing a fuller beard.
This is what I get. This is all I can do. This is it.
That's the extent of it. Okay. All right. I like it. But yeah, you can bring the mustache up. But I mean, hey, I like it as well. We'll take a poll, see what the people want. In the meantime, what do you guys want on the Ravens-Bills game? We're looking at 2.5 and 49.5 here.
Well, I'm not I don't have as much conviction as Jason McIntyre does. I think Buffalo's really, really good. I really worry that Zach Moss is out for the postseason. So now they're down to Singletary. Buffalo's run game was non-existent except for Josh Allen. So I worry about, let's say Buffalo takes a lead. How do they kill the clock? How do they're almost built to come from behind because of their ability to throw the ball. But if Buffalo takes the lead in this game, they can't run the ball. And I thought Baltimore's physicality against Tennessee was impressive. So I do think there's some advantages to the Ravens. But I think Buffalo got a good scare against the Colts. And listen, this Buffalo team, you may have to get into a shootout to beat them. That may be the way to beat them. Get into a shootout. And I like Buffalo over Baltimore if I'm told it's a shootout. I mean, the over-under, I don't bet over-unders much. I would take the over here. If the weather's good, I think Buffalo's just built to score 30 points. It's what they do.
Why don't you? Just out of curiosity.
Because you can get burned so often in 2020 and 2021 on backdoor covers because Pittsburgh last night. Pittsburgh played poor and drops 35 points.
Yeah, or that Seattle game. Seattle put up 50 points. I'm like, 50 points? Where did 50 points even come from?
Yeah, Rams-Seahawks game was awful.
Awful, yeah.
You get 50. So I just think points are so easy to come by. The rules are so offensively leaning that you can be on the right side of something. I mean, that college football game, Ohio State-Clemson. I mean, it's just like you give a team 12 possessions with all the rules these days and talented quarterbacks. It's just hard to keep people under 30 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one big takeaway I had from Bills Colts was every single Colts drive got into Buffalo territory.
Yeah.
They moved the football at will with Phillip Rivers. Okay. Buffalo couldn't get to Rivers, did not sack him once. I mean, this is a Colts offense that we've kind of mocked all season. They ran for over 150 yards with ease. Baltimore's as good, if not a better running offense. And we saw the blueprint that Frank Reich and the Colts put forth. How do you really move the ball on Buffalo? Hit the guys in the middle of the field. You don't want to test their cornerbacks. They're good on the outside. Attack the middle of the field and run the football. Well, J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, Gus the Bus, they have one of the best tight ends in the league in Mark Andrews. I just think they're uniquely built offensively to move the ball. And defensively, I mean, you guys saw that. The Colts didn't blitz Josh Allen. We're just going to press with 4, not let anybody beat us deep, except they got beat deep once by Diggs. And we're going to keep everything in front of us. I like the cornerbacks, for the Ravens with Humphrey and Jimmy Smith, physical guys. I think Baltimore's a side here. Maybe we can make a side wager, but I would be willing to bet this game closes pick'em before kickoff.
And Buffalo's run defense, not that great. We saw what Lamar obviously can do. Way to get his monkey off his back in the postseason for him and his confidence. Moving on, we're looking at Super Bowl futures, you guys. We haven't done this yet this year, but do you see any value up here, Colin? Just a quick glance.
Yeah, I mean, Packers plus 400. I don't think there's a team in the NFC right now built to go up to Lambeau and win. And I think the AFC, you could have a surprise Super Bowl team. I mean, if Baltimore knocks off, if Cleveland knocks off Kansas City, if Baltimore, knocks off a Buffalo, you could have the best team and the hottest team in the AFC knocked out. This playoff football is about matchups. And I think Green Bay over the next month matches up with every team on this board. And I don't think Kansas City does. And I don't think the Rams do. I don't think the Saints do. So I don't think Baltimore or Buffalo do. So Green Bay is the play here.
This is okay. So I just noticed this as Colin was saying this. What is home field advantage worth, guys? Like with really no fans, I don't know if there is a lot of value in home field advantage. And when you look at this past weekend, I mean, Baltimore went on the road and won. Tampa Bay didn't have many problems with Washington, and the Rams went into Seattle. So now you're looking at home field advantage. Do the Chiefs really have that much of an edge? And I'll ask, I mean, I know it's going to be cold, but does Green Bay have an edge?
I would think that they more than anyone, because that's tough to go into Green Bay.
It is. It's cold there, but it's like a static stadium. There's no fans. There's no third down worries about noise. I think the Rams, you put some pizza money on the Rams plus 2,200. If they shock the world and stun Aaron Rodgers, it's not like he hasn't lost at home before in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. Eli Manning did it back in the day. I think Kaepernick as well. Rams 2,200. I think they can cause problems for Drew Brees in the NFC title game. They already won there once with fans. 2,200, I don't think is awful.
We talked about it on our show, Colin, and Coach brought up the point that home field advantage is no longer about the fans. It's about that the players' schedules are consistent. They're sleeping in their own bed. They're in home. They're not traveling. So, that's where the home field advantage comes into play on that one. Real quickly, before we get out of here, we got the national championship game this evening, Ohio State and Alabama. Colin, is there any chance Ohio State wins this game?
Well, I like Alabama to win, but I'm going to take the Buckeyes plus 8.5 points. I think they'll score a lot of points. I just think it's going to be kind of a 36-30 game. I think Alabama's going to take the lead, and I think they're going to look like the better team. But I do think Ohio State's run on everybody they face this year, I think they'll play a little bit of keep away from Alabama at times. I think Ryan Day's a very clever coach. So I think Ohio State will generate some time of possession. They can also beat you over the top. But I think Alabama's, just offensively, Georgia gave them a little trouble. But, they're a matchup nightmare on the perimeter. You got to double all these guys, and you don't have the people to do it. And I think offensively they'll get too many possessions, and Ohio State won't be able to stop them. But I do think the Buckeyes will run the ball and move the ball.
Okay, Jace?
Yeah, I don't have too much here. I hate giving out a chalky pick like favored by 8.5. That means basically Alabama's going to kill them, double figures. I don't know if that's the case, but I did bet Alabama, just a small play, an action play, because I love college football. And it wasn't a big season for me betting on college football. Ohio State's schedule was, they play Indiana. Justin Fields looks bad. He looks mediocre to bad against Northwestern, and then he destroys Clemson. Which Justin Fields will show up this week? A lot of talk about Alabama's defense stinking. They might have 2 first-round picks in the secondary. I think Justin Fields will have a much tougher go. And I think Nick Saban picks up another ring. I don't know, what is that, like his 17th national title, and Alabama wins.
At last count. Well, yeah. Good news for everybody at home. No matter what side you're on, you can watch the game with this group. This is quite the lineup. You got Jalen Hurts. We got Reggie Bush, Joe Burrow, and Joel Klatt leading the way as our national championship watch party. And you can watch it on any one of those outlets, our Fox Sports app, on YouTube, on Twitter, or on Facebook. That should be a fun group to watch the game with. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, this has been Talk the Line. For Colin, Cowherd, Jason McIntyre, and Charissa Thompson. We'll see you next week.